Anthem.
It's been talked about a lot.
This is I know it's been talked about a lot, but this is the point I wanted to make at the end. That this is what bothers me. Again, I understand. I understand trying to make your money back, inflation, things like that, coming out with DLC.
And I also get that games are getting more and more realistic, story-driven, costing more money. I get all that stuff. Fine.
And again, we want to reiterate, people don't care paying for DLC if it enhances the story.
Yeah.
And the games, like Rockstar Games, good example. Those games were out for 5 years. Look how much DLC they created. That was free.
Yeah.
For Grand Theft Auto, update after update after update after update.
Because they knew that it would bring more people in, more people would buy their game.
People wanted the game.
Yeah.
Look at The Witcher 3. Yes, they had DLC, but they gave out 16 free DLC packages, new quest modes. The game was like 150 hours long.
Yeah.
The game was, and the replay value is just so high because the story is so good, the game is so good, the music is unbelievable, the battle sequences, everything.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the point that's just disgusting. EA doesn't care about what players want, only that what players will pay for. Says ex-BioWare developer. You know how disgusting that is? Okay. Now, we took the reason why you haven't seen a video in a while from us.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're finally back.
Yeah, it's... Well, I got sick. For one.
True.
We didn't know it was going to happen, but I got sick. Also, we need to take a break for a week to organize things and to decide what we wanted to do.
Yeah, plus we just wanted to get everything set up.
And we're going to focus strictly on the game channel since we're getting more watch time on these videos than we are.
A lot more watch time.
Our sports channel video, our sports channel, just not getting a lot of traction.
We'll keep it around. We might go back to it eventually sometime. We'll wait and see.
It depends. We have to get more people on it, but
yeah.
That's Common Sense Sports, by the way, if you want to go check that out. And every YouTuber does it, so I'm just going to say please like and subscribe to this to our content.
Definitely.
It really helps the channel out.
Yeah, comment, like it. That way we know what we can do and how we can improve and things we can be better on.
Unlike EA, who doesn't really seem to care if people like them or not. So, and that's kind of what we're going to get into here. We're going to get into some microtransactions. I know we already talked about it. It's kind of a tired debate.
But it's something you can always talk about because,
But it's not really what I'm talking about today. You can see from the title of the video, we're kind of getting to the gaming apocalypse. And I know it sounds...
It's what it's starting to feel like.
I know it sounds silly, but it's already here. And I'm going to explain to you probably the same points a lot of other people have been making, but it's not looking good for the market and the way things are going. And the reason why game companies are doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And now, to go into our first article, it's a Business Insider article. It shows a photo of Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
Yeah.
And Mortal Kombat's a popular topic right now, but I miss the days when I only had to pay once for a video game. And those days are pretty much gone. You can pretty much, kiss that goodbye. To go into what they're talking about, game companies and developers, just to name the three popular ones we're going to talk about today: Mortal Kombat 11, which is, shows a picture of Mortal Kombat here.
Yep.
Anthem,
Yep.
which is a terrible one that, the stuff that's happening with that game is just awful. A lot of that has to do with bad management and stuff like that too. And then Borderlands 3, which is a new controversy that just came out. Everybody was excited about the game, and now it seems like they're starting to do ridiculous amounts of...
I was never a huge fan of Borderlands, but in the first two, they weren't doing things like that. They weren't. The company wasn't doing the things that they're trying to do with this third one.
Here recently, I would say within the last 3 or 4 years, it's picked up dramatically.
Yeah.
And companies really trying to nickel and dime people.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just terrible. But it goes into why it's effective. They talk about mobile apps and mobile games here. Mobile games are free. That's another reason why microtransactions in those games are more acceptable and tolerated more.
I definitely consider them more acceptable.
Well, if you think about it, you're going to end up spending more money probably in the long run.
Probably in the long run.
But people... I think what people take issue with is when they already pay $60 for a game, which is a big chunk of money right off. and then they had to spend $35 on a season pass, $30 for DLC, and then $5 here and there for skins and stuff like. It starts to get to like the $200 range.
Yeah.
And it goes into that here, just apps and things like that doing it, free-to-play games, and how it's so effective in these games, because popular titles, you know, when you spend $60 on a video game, take Mortal Kombat for instance, you want to get extra content with it, you want to get the combat pass, you want to get new characters, you want to get new stuff for your game, which everybody loves.
Oh yeah.
And they want new content, but they hide it behind these paywalls, and the companies know that, you know, with the new Mortal Kombat, the faces and the graphics look better than ever. The sound effects are better than ever.
Yeah.
And that's true of every video game. Take Battlefront 2, Star Wars. The graphics were unreal. But you want more content. Man, this is great, I want more stuff.
Yeah, I want to do more in this world.
So what do? $50 season pass.
Yeah.
And that's when people start to take issue, and that's when people start to get upset.
You know, a game we've talked about before, The Witcher 3. I personally felt like they did the DLC stuff just like you're supposed to do it.
They gave out free DLC, but they also
gave out free DLC, and then the DLC that you paid for that they created was worth the money. It was an extra. How long? You played them? You've played the DLCs. I haven't played them yet.
Oh, they're unbelievable.
How long were they?
Oh man, it's been about a year. I would say more than 40 hours.
Which is, I mean,
that's a full game.
And that's what those cost what? $15, $20?
Right now, I think it's about $25
So,
combined.
Combined. Yeah, for all of them, right?
When they first came out, it was $40.
I mean, I still need to go back and play them.
It was worth it. It was $40.
Yeah,
and it was worth it. And it was over 40 hours of content. I think where you're going to start seeing, and I'm going to make this point at the end, is you're going to see a callback to single-player games.
Yeah.
Not single-player games, but just story modes in general.
Yeah.
You're going to see like a flashback, well, not really a flashback, but a callback to that. People are going to go back to that because I think it's just more cost-effective for people just buying that and getting the content out of it. Multiplayer games, they will die off eventually. I think the only thing that you're going to have at the end when you get to multiplayer games are MMOs like Warframe. Because people are willing to spend the money on games that are going to be continuous and get continuous updates. People are not going to spend $1,000 on a FIFA EA recurring title. Because you don't get to keep any of the stuff you get.
No.
It's gone.
It's just gone after that season, yeah.
And the things that don't help, and I know I'm probably going to get some dislikes for this, but FIFA YouTubers, they're keeping it afloat because they're spending $15, and I can't blame them. They have to do it because it's their business.
For a living, yeah.
And it's just, it's like a piranha-like dog-eat-dog weird, eat the small guy.
And these companies know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's what
they're good at it, but that's not a good thing.
That's what this Business Insider talks about. And you know, this last point I want to make with Business Insider, in some cases game companies create and sell extra downloadable content, and they make it out of necessity to keep their business afloat.
Yeah.
And that gets into the real cost of gaming. And it seems like in some cases extra content is twisted the way they do it. You know, we talked about the Mortal Kombat 11, the $300 collector's edition.
Yeah.
And the Borderlands apparently is selling a $250 edition. That's just obscene. That's just like, and then you got the Mortal Kombat 11 store.
Yeah. Selling
$5. That wouldn't combine, James. The 750 intros. You spend $7.50 per intro. I found that last night on the store. And I know it talks about these are businesses after all. True, but you talked about The Witcher 3 and what they did.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get into the real cost of gaming.
Yeah.
In what we're getting into now. You know, it talks about inflation.
Inflation's always going to affect prices, and I understand that.
And let's, I want to mention this point it says by Colin Moriarty, inflation is it's just a fact of economic life.
Yeah, which kind of what I just said, yeah.
The cost of products fluctuate, especially as the value of the dollar goes down and markets shift.
Yeah.
The dollar in 1912 has the purchasing power of over $23 today.
Yep.
So, you know, the cost of the dollar, the value of it is going down. It's crazy, man. An NES game in 1990 cost on average about $50. That's $89 in 2013 money. Your $70 N64 cartridges in 1998 would cost $100 today. A $50 PlayStation 2 game you bought in 2005 is worth $60. Let's talk about what they get into with the Atari.
Yeah, and you were kind of talking to me about this last night.
Here's a big point I'm trying to get at. Hardware in particular is where differences in cost when accounting for inflation is extremely pronounced. The PlayStation 3 may have seemed expensive when it launched at $599 in 2006, and it was, but it's not the most expensive mainstream gaming console. The honor goes to Atari 2600. And look at the graphics of the Atari compared to now.
Oh yeah.
Launched in September of 1977, the Atari 2600 cost $200. When adjusted for inflation, look what it is now.
$771.
PlayStation 3, $600, $700 now. 360, $400, $500 now. The Sega Saturn, $400, $613
That's
now.
crazy.
Basically what we're getting at, and again we're going to go back to this at the end of our discussion, and I know what, by no means am I justifying nickel and diming people, but companies are trying to justify them putting microtransactions into games by inflation. You know, Boogie talked about this. Whether you disagree or you agree with the guy, content, whatever, he did make a good point a long time ago when he talked about game companies are going to start charging $100 for games.
He said that.
And you may walk into the game store and go, Boogie's wrong. No, they're not. Yes, they are. You mean to tell you why?
You have to look at everything.
$60 game. Okay? So you buy let's just take Battlefront, for example. $60 game. Battlefront 2 when it came out.
Yeah.
Star Wars Battlefront when it came out. The season pass was $50, right?
Yeah.
So it's a $60 game, $50 battle pass, $110.
Yep.
So they charged $100, didn't they? Mortal Kombat, $65 game. Combat Pack, $35. $100 game.
Now here's my issue with it. If you charge that much money for purely extra things,
DLC?
fine.
Yeah, nobody.
But you should not charge that much to not get a full game and then have to get the full game. Like, I'm trying to think of how to, I'm saying it weird, but
You know what, and I understand what you're saying. You're talking about with the DLC where they cut that content out of the disc and then they reinsert it back into the game.
And then they reinsert it back into the game.
Here's what's upsetting. Okay, they're doing this. If they explain it, if they came out right and explained this to people, look, our industry is suffering. We have to put the DLC in the game. And it was a story mode game, and people were doing it, and they had DLC. I don't think people would take issue with it because they didn't with The Witcher 3. Because it was good content.
That's kind of what I was going to get into. You didn't need the extra content.
No, people were willing to
have
spend.
a fulfilling game. Yeah.
People were willing to spend the money.
Yeah.
To get the extra content, like in Fallout 4, they came out with New Harper and all this stuff. People didn't have a problem with it because it was a story game. They were getting extra hours.
Yeah. You got the full story, and the extra stuff they added in was just extra fun stuff to do. That's fine.
It was the money they were spending combined with the time. People felt like they were getting what they paid for.
Yeah.
With multiplayer games, you're not.
No.
And to explain why is because these games, 2-year titles, they're not going to last you. There's no replayability.
No.
If there's no replayability, people are going to feel like you're ripping them off.
Yeah.
And that you're pulling the wool over their eyes. You're tricking them into buying stuff. Here's what I want to tell gamers. If you want a change, stop buying it.
That's the only way to do it.
Stop.
That's it.
And you know what? I hate to say that because we have to buy stuff for our channel.
Yeah.
We have to. I don't want to lie to people. I have to, and I know it's tempting. I know you want to buy the next Mortal Kombat. I know you want to buy this. I know you want to buy that. It's sad because they... You know, we talked about the Business Insider. They do a good job in forcing you to go out and spend stuff.
They do.
Look, you want the new Mortal Kombat? Guess what? We have politics and microtransactions, stuff like that, hidden behind this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we know you want the game, so we're just going to hide it in here. You don't know about it. Guess what? You got the game. We got you now. And that's what they're doing with microtransaction. It's sad. Let's talk about the future of gaming, DLC. And it's kind of what we're leading into with the inflation and stuff like that.
Leading into this, yeah.
They're trying to make their money back through DLC and microtransactions. And this is pretty much just the future of gaming. This is by Laura Parker at GameSpot. Again, we're not sponsored by any of this stuff, and I don't know what you think about these companies, these articles.
These are just articles that...
But they do make good points in these articles.
Yeah.
This is by Laura Parker at GameSpot. Where does the future of gaming lie? Will we be rocking games in 3D? Will we be making game purchases over internet? I mean, that's all kind of coming to fruition now. All this stuff is pretty much, you know, we got VR now, we got digital purchases, so yeah, it's starting to... And will social games take over more core titles? Kind of, I guess mobile games are starting to become bigger now.
Yeah.
Free-to-play games. They take a look at 3 topics. But basically it gets to the second topic that we really want to get into. The future of gaming is DLC. You know, if we scroll down, extending the life of games, they have to bring in DLC to extend the life of games.
Yeah.
New content, never again are you probably going to get a game that doesn't have DLC in it. Like the old Medal of Honors where you went through D-Day and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the renting of games is probably going
way off, yeah,
by the wayside.
Mm-hmm. They're even trying to get rid of the
GameFly.
They're even trying to get rid of pre-purchase games, you know, like used games, buying those.
Which means, what's the name of the company?
Which company? Sony?
No, the game.
GameStop.
GameStop. What? No. What? It's because GameSpot was here, and I kept thinking to myself, it's GameSpot. No, it's GameStop.
GameStop, yeah.
It's like the words like mess my brain up.
Letters.
It just messed my brain up. Pretty much, it talks about developers are pretty much unanimous in bringing in DLC in the future, and it's because it creates more content for gamers.
Yeah.
They're willing to buy it, and it's just more money for the game company.
Yeah. You know something. I'll get more into this probably Friday. Well, okay. Well, anyway, we're doing a top 10 type list thing Friday.
No, I don't want to get into that.
But what I was gonna say is, it seems like story games nowadays need DLC to keep people invested in their stories.
That's a good point.
Older games didn't do that. Older games I can go back and replay over and over and over and still enjoy them, even though I know what's going to happen. And I don't know why. I don't know what the difference is. But there's something about the older games that I can go back and replay. That was all I had to make on that. But
in the controversy here, it talks about it. In March 2009, Capcom drew ire from gamers when it announced a $5 Resident Evil Versus Mode DLC.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the issue that they created DLC. I think it was like a mode that they felt should be free because it was just a multiplayer update.
Yeah. And
they charged $5 for it. That's what we're getting at.
Yeah. Yeah, when I say adding in the extra stuff like that with unfinished games, that's the type of stuff I'm talking about.
And then we talk about the infamous Horse Armor DLC for the... But see, to me, that's not DLC. I know technically it is, but to me, that's just a microtransaction. That's not... To me, when I talk about DLC... I'm talking about stuff of like story mode enhancing.
Yeah.
When you talk about Horse Armor, yeah, that is controversial because people are going to pay for...
I think the big controversy about that was how much it costs, I think, at the time.
Well, it was $250, but people felt like they were being nickel and dimed. And $250 for Horse Armor...
Oh, what game was it? There was a game that released years back and they, you had to like pay to get the ending. What game was it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
It was the first... Well, I don't know if this is the game you're talking about, but it was the first Shadow of War. You beat Sauron, and to go back and actually defeat Sauron, you had to pay for the DLC.
That's right. There was another one came around. I think it came out right around the same time. It's Neo. Was it Neo?
Yes.
It was, wasn't it?
Yes.
And
you
like
had to pay.
The ending stopped. You had to pay to get the ending. That's the type of stuff that I'm not even gonna yell. That's the type of stuff that just I can't stand.
What we're getting at is DLC is not, and that's kind of what this GameSpot article gets into.
Sometimes it's hard to talk about because I know we keep kind of repeating ourselves sometimes, but it's getting so ridiculous and so over the top with stuff now that you can't ignore it anymore. Before you could kind of ignore it. You can't do that anymore because it's so ingrained within the culture of video games now.
You know, the future of DLC, a lot of game companies are firm believers in DLC. In this comment here, DLC is the first time when we can see content creators moving up the food chain from a business perspective. In our case, it gives us the chance to make the games we want and the ability to publish them ourselves on WiiWare, PSN, and Xbox Live. We're confident that DLC and digital distribution will grow dramatically over the next few years. So it's not looking bright if you don't like DLC.
Yep.
For a developer that isn't able to sell games directly to consumers, the concept of DLC is great. I think 10 years from now, a point is going to come where DLC is going to be the primary form of game delivery, and it is exciting. Not for gamers, and you're going to ruin the industry because eventually people are going to stop buying it. Because it's going to get tiresome. If people feel like that's what you're creating games with, look, people don't mind buying it. It's the point. People don't mind buying it. It's when people feel like that's all the game is
You're being
DLC.
forced to buy it.
Yeah, if you make a crappy game and then the DLC is the future of the game, people are going to be like, whoa, wait a minute. I don't want that. And I can't blame them. And let's get into, those are our main points. I want to get into some games.
Yeah, specific games.
Specific games that are doing it now, where you can see what they're doing now. And again, by no means are we justifying this, but Mortal Kombat 11. And these are we pulled this article up before, that the microtransactions are truly obscene.
Yeah.
It shows a picture of Garrus here where Johnny Cage does a finishing move. Of course, there's no blood in this, but we don't want there to be. But, sorry for the ads and all that stuff, but, it talks about on April 25th, Ed Boon made a clarifying statement where they were going to remove skins from the premium shop. They still haven't done that yet.
So they still haven't done it?
No. The new update did come out. They didn't do it. So, it's still in the store. And this article was published on the 24th. So, I know this is a little bit behind, but we already pulled this article up. Basically, what we're getting at is cosmetic only microtransaction configuration will not likely come as much as a surprise. $5 per skin, $7.50 per intro scene.
That's all. That's more ridiculous.
$3 for each gear item, which is $270 per times 26. We came out to $6,000 per certain for the skins and the gear combined. It was like $6,000 with all the stuff. We came in like it was like $13,000 plus if you bought everything without actually playing the game.
Yeah.
Which is just absurd. That's when we get into the microtransaction stuff. In here it talks about the rate is $1 per 100 time crystals, which doesn't even get you anything. You get 10, James, you get 10 time crystals per level up.
Yep, you told me that.
So you get to level 50. I've played the game for a week now. So a week, I got 500 crystals for a week of play, which gets me one skin. One.
A week, one skin in a week.
And the skins rotate in the store, which means you may not even see the stuff you want.
I was going to say, that's my whole deal about it. If every skin was made available at all times from the beginning, you could get the specific ones you wanted. Would I still be mad at this? Yes. But that would make it a lot better because then you could just get the specific things you wanted. Are there some people out there who want every single thing? Yes. But for those people who want specific skins, specific fatalities, things like that, fine. You can go and buy that. You can buy the specific things you want. But it's all random.
So here's what's upsetting. We talked about the Mortal Kombat thing. They're doing it to make up. They say they're doing it to make up for inflation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not this. This is absurd.
This is over.
They're taking advantage of people.
Yeah.
And let's go into the Battle Pass system confirmed. This concerns me. The Battle Pass system confirmed for MK11. This is 27 days ago. The Gold Edition includes standard game, Combat Pass. I'm assuming this is the premium edition with the metal case.
Yeah.
Combat Pass is worth $35 when sold separately. Combat Pass includes 6 characters, released over 1 year.
Just 6 characters.
They talked about 9 characters being in the game. Apparently not. I don't know. Now I'm skeptical of it. Released over 1 year. 6 Battle Passes covering the same period of time. Battle Pass covers about 2 months of service and has goals and cosmetics. So basically like Fortnite.
Exactly like Fortnite.
How do you do that in a fighting game? So I mean,
the thing is about this game is it's a lot bigger for you because you own the game. I don't own the game.
Here's what we but we're doing that for
True.
We are.
You're not wrong.
Whenever I can get enough money for a
You're not wrong.
game catcher, but
yeah.
Here's what's scary about it. Is the character going to be in at the end of the Battle Pass? So if you don't get to the end of the Battle Pass, do you even get to get the character? Or do you have to buy it?
Who knows?
If I bought the Combat Pass, Do I get the character?
Yeah, does it come out right away with the combat pass? I mean, what is it?
Or do I have to get extra stuff?
You don't know?
See, I thought when I got the combat pack, I was getting 6 characters. I didn't know. Am I paying for a battle pass? Now I don't know. Now I'm starting to want my money back, but I can't get it.
No, it's too late now. That's the type of business practices I'm talking about. They don't release this stuff until after.
No,
the
they're
game's
ripping. They're tricking people.
out. Yeah.
So no longer am I buying this stuff. I'm done. I'm not pre-ordering, and I shouldn't have been doing it. Not pre-ordering. I'm not getting combat packs. I'm not getting DLC until I see it.
Pretty much
I'm not getting ripped off again.
Pretty much every company we've ever thought was not going to do certain things that way. Every one of them have. So you can't trust any of them anymore
No.
at this point.
Now let's get into GameSpot. Borderlands 3. Borderlands 3 does have microtransactions. You can buy cosmetics with real money. Now, this was a big controversy because the guy, Pitchford, said, despite Gearbox's CEO Randy Pitchford announcement to the contrary during the Borderlands 3 May gameplay live stream reveal, the newest entry of the Borderlands franchise does allow you to buy in-game content with real money. He said you couldn't. Get into his quote, "We're not doing anything of that free-to-play junk. That's not going to be any microtransactions, not going to be any of that nonsense." I guess he came out and tried to defend himself. He kind of acted like a baby with his tweets when he was going off, but you know, he came out and said there were going to be no microtransactions, and now there are with cosmetics. So basically, any microtransaction of the sort, people are going to have a bad taste in their mouth. I feel like if he came out and said, look, we're not going to have loot boxes, but there are going to be certain microtransactions like cosmetics,
That's fine.
certain things like that
I
for you to
understand
buy.
that. Yeah.
If you want to get it, you can. If you don't have to. We're also going to create a way to unlock it in the game. If you want to get it faster, you can buy it.
Like I've been repeating this entire video, as long as it has nothing to do with gameplay,
But they're doing weird.
just be honest.
They're doing weird business practices.
Yeah.
With it by doing it like in a sneaky way. Look, we're not doing it. We're not going to do it. Oh, by the way, you can get this. See, doesn't this look
You
cool?
can buy the shirt.
Don't you want it? It's only $1. So is this. So is this. And these other 100 items and these cosmetics, they're only $1. And then they end up making like billions of dollars on the side, which nobody would have a problem with. They just feel like you're tricking people. Now getting to the last one, and I know it's a tired debate. Anthem.
It's been talked about a lot.
This is the last, I know it's been talked about a lot, but this is the point I wanted to make at the end. That this is what bothers me. Again, I understand. I understand trying to make your money back, inflation, things like that, coming out with DLC.
And I also get that games are getting more and more realistic, story-driven,
costing
more money. I get all that stuff. Fine.
And again, we want to reiterate, people don't care paying for DLC if it enhances the story.
Yeah.
And the games, like Rockstar Games, good example. Those games were out for 5 years. Look how much DLC they created. That was free.
Yeah.
For Grand Theft Auto, update after update after update after update.
Because they knew that it would bring more people in, more people would buy their game.
People wanted the game.
Yeah.
Look at The Witcher 3. Yes, they had DLC, but they gave out 16 free DLC packages, new quest modes. The game was like 150 hours long.
Yeah.
The game was, and the replay value is just so high because the story is so good, the game is so good, the music is unbelievable, the battle sequences, everything.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the point that's just disgusting. EA doesn't care about what players want, only that what players will pay for. Says ex-BioWare developer. You know how disgusting that is? That means no longer do these people even care about making good games. That's why the games that you see don't have good endings anymore.
Yeah.
The games are only out for a year. The content sucks. The gameplay sucks. The mechanics suck. But guess what? You got good graphics. You got good sound design. You're going to see the game industry start to go downhill. Mass Effect 3 and Andromeda saw a big hit. EA, another BioWare thing. Anthem, big hit. And I mean took a big hit.
Oh, yeah.
I don't mean a big hit. I mean took a big hit.
Yeah.
To the point where they may not make another Mass Effect. And they were planning on doing it. I don't know if they will now. Loot boxes have become a major source of income for the big publishers, supplementing the rigid $60 pricing structure with a never-ending streaming of randomized goodies. It's not a tactic that works on plenty of gamers, but there must be a fair few so-called whales, meaning, if you don't know what that term means, people that just have tons of money that will just keep buying and buying and buying and buying and buying and buying out there to justify this tactic. I've seen people literally spend $15,000 on Mass Effect multiplayer cards.
Mass Effect. That wasn't even that big of a multiplayer thing.
You don't need to look forward to see EA's newfound approach. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is absolutely riddled with loot crates with better gear, stuck in the via Trojan horse of free maps and modes. That's what it is, like a Trojan horse, like that wheel it into you, looks cool. Guess what? They open it up. We should have created like a video of that, where the Trojan horse comes in, and you got a bunch of video games with microtransactions just pouring out of the face.
Can you imagine how funny that would
And
look?
gamers just sitting there like that.
Oh man.
What we're getting at is the future. The gaming. This all leads to like the apocalypse of gaming. Go back to the cost of DLC. You have the inflation, which leads to game companies just creating more and more and more and more DLC.
Yep.
Which leads them to trying to nickel and dime people with microtransactions. Greed. They want more money. They want more bang for the buck. They want to keep more money. They want to, they see all these players. They know they're going to get a few extra dollars more out of these gamers. Mortal Kombat 11, we saw them do it with the combat pass, the season passes, the skins, the gear, the battle pass has been confirmed. The Borderlands 3, their $250 collector's edition stuff, the Mortal Kombat 11 collector's edition, the Anthem, the microtransactions, it's all leading, and it's already here. The downfall of games and industries are already going to start to go under. You had the Quartering talk about it. DICE apparently is in big trouble right now. BioWare is in big trouble right now. Gearbox may be with this. EA, we don't know. I don't think they'll go under. They're so big. But maybe it takes
something like that.
Maybe it takes
to tear it down and then rebuild it back up.
Maybe it takes an industry to go under, and I hate to say that because people are going to lose their jobs. I hate to say it. But if we want things to get better, they have to go to the wayside first.
Yeah.
And I wish it wouldn't have to be that way, but it seems like stuff like this stuff is so ingrained, it's so filled with gunk and grime.
You know what I will say is it's almost like YouTube. There's amazing YouTube content out there, but it's so inflated with all this just random stuff that it's hard to find.
Talking about like Jake Paul, Logan Paul?
Well, yeah, but they're big. I'm talking about just like grimy, just stuff that may not even get that many views. Or
when we
things
talk
like that.
about them, I don't even know if that's their real personality, and I don't think it is. I feel like they do that because they've created that character, and they have to act like that.
I think a lot of people are, especially people in like Hollywood and stuff. That's how they are. They're not really like that. They're just they know that's going to get them success.
People are just getting taken advantage of, and I don't want to see that. And it's getting sad. It's getting ridiculous. Into another point. Extra credits. YouTuber. He sums it all up when he talks about the game industry and inflation and why they're doing what they're doing now. And I don't think he was really trying to justify it. I think he was just getting to the point to look. It could be a lot worse than what it is right now.
True.
And it's getting to the point to where it might start getting bad here pretty soon. It already is. And it's starting to get that way in everything.
But you're not. No. It's not easy to find a solution to this stuff because there's so many different factors that factor into it.
I know, but again, guys, that's been it with us. We always, appreciate a like and subscribe. Please do so. It helps us out tremendously.
We had a lot to talk about today.
But let us know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think the gaming apocalypse is already here? Do you think it's coming?
Do you think it's not gonna happen?
Do you think we're exaggerating?
Yeah.
Let us know what you think about our content. Again, leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever we put new content up.
We're going to get back to regular uploads now.
And just let us know what you think. So, social media down in the description below. Thank you for watching, and y'all have a good day.
Have a good day.